So yes, I've been in advocacy for the longest time. I'm 40 years old, and I started as an advocate when I was 20, 21 years old. At the time when it was very difficult to get a job, being who I am, at the time when I received a comment on my resume that said, I'm not a lesbian, but it actually said lesbian because of how I look like, and I was rejected for a job. And this was in 1998 when I started looking for work. I was working in a fast food restaurant at that time, and I wanted to get into corporate. So what I did was I applied to a corporate space and was denied, and they returned my resume, and the comment there was lesbian. So I was thinking that, okay, maybe this is not a good idea. And it started with, actually, yeah, it started with me pretending. So I decided that I need to change the way I look. And I did that. I did that. I was able to work for a company where we had a 4-day skirt policy. Yeah, I was in a skirt for 4 days. I was in that company for 1 year. I was wearing a skirt from Monday to Thursday, which was the ultimate discomfort for me at that time. It was a very difficult thing to do on a daily basis, and I would wear my makeup in the car. I knew how to put on makeup. I have theater background, so that helped. But yes, I would rush to the office, and in between traffic lights, I would apply lipstick and foundation and eyeliner and go to work like any other good girl would go to work at that time. And it was really very harrowing to hide. It was very harrowing and difficult, but you know, as they say, you got to do what you got to do at the time that you have to do it. And there were no options. So finally, maybe roughly about 15 years ago, I was already out actually. A lot of people knew that I was a bisexual. A lot of people understood that. But unfortunately, in the employment sector, it was very difficult, especially in the local employment sector. So around 15 years ago, I heard about the BPO industry. And I said, okay, maybe I can go there because I heard that they were accepting a lot of LGBT persons or persons of diverse SOGI. And I was thinking that, okay, you know, maybe this is a way for me to truly express myself and be myself in the workspace. It wasn't easy. You know how people would say that, don't worry about the skirt thing, you'll get used to it. I wasn't. I was never used to it. It was very difficult for me. So I joined the BPO industry. I went to my interview in a pantsuit. It was a thing back then. In a pantsuit and a blazer, and you know, and I basically leveraged on my experience in public speaking. I joined some organizations, so you know that taught me to be confident. So I leveraged on that, and I applied as a trainer for BPO. So this was 15 years ago. I was very, very lucky to have joined an inclusive company. So I was like, okay, so they're taking, it was on my resume that I was part of UP Sappho Society, which was actually a lesbian organization. Indigo Philippines, which was a women's rights organization and a lesbian organization. There were no bisexual organizations, in case you're wondering. So I had to join the lesbians. But it's okay because I think I fit right in. I fit right in. That worked. So I had to, you know, I put it on my resume. I wasn't afraid to do that. So I put it on my resume and I waited for a reaction. And I received a letter of acceptance. So that was good. Now, within that space, I have, you know, progressed as a training person in the BPO space. Although I've been to different companies already. So far, right now, in the company that I'm in, I've been there for about 4 years, a little bit more than that. And I'm very proud to be part of this industry. The BPO industry has ushered in a culture of inclusiveness and a culture of acceptance. Although not perfect, I'll be honest about that, it's not perfect, but it is a really great stepping stone. And right now, I think there's more that we can do to help people with diverse background who are employed. And one of the role models for employment equality would really be the BPO space. And I can safely say that. I'm currently a senior leader in the company. I have 100 people under my team. I manage 7 managers. And anything about my sexuality or you know who I am has never been a point of contention or a point of discussion even. It's fun to feel normal. And I think that is what this space has given me. It's great. It's great to feel normal. So we still have a long way to go. And right now, I'm involved in Side B Philippines, and I really would like to mention that our organization is new. As a matter of fact, the co-founder is here. Where's Ifar? There he is. The most supportive bisexual man I know. I love you, hearts. So Ifar is here to support this event as well. And we would like to say that part of the work that we do is we promote employment equality. So we strive to talk to several businesses and corporations. We provide SOGI awareness, and we also make recommendations towards diversity and inclusion. This is something that is close to our hearts. Both Ifar and I are part of the corporate sector. And we recognize that it's very difficult for some people of diverse SOGI to enter that sector because they think that there are a lot of limitations, when in fact, those limitations are going away little by little. So it's really a great help to have a lot of visibility. Like these wonderful people right here are all examples of that visibility and that strength that we have in the business sector. And I think that it's something that, we can really market and leverage on in terms of providing employment equality to everybody. It's been a long time since I have been discriminated at any work-related thing or function, and I'm happy to say that that's a great thing. It's a great thing. I don't have to go to work wearing a skirt anymore, thankfully. It's hard, and I went in skirt and heels and makeup. Can you believe that? Looking back at that, it's like that wasn't me. Totally, it wasn't me. But I'm happy that it has changed. Now, one of the things that I really believe in, are the benefits of having a diverse workforce. And what are those benefits that we're looking at? I mean, number one, it's really creating a wider talent pool. And if, whatever Brian was mentioning earlier about maybe more than 50% of people being not straight, if that were applicable in the Philippines, then that means that right now, a number of our local corporations are actually discriminating against half the population of, employable people. And seriously, if you limit your talent pool and make it this small, then you'll have a very hard time finding really great, talented people. So one of the things that we can contribute to this as persons of diverse SOGI who are qualified, to get into these jobs would be to help employers find more options in terms of employment, bank on the talent, and look at the wider talent pool. And that's one thing. The other thing is, and I have spoken, this is just a personal thing, but I've spoken to a lot of LGBT persons in the workplace. And one of the things that encourages them to stay in a company, and when you stay, you need to perform. You need to have, you need to do great, right? And one of the things that encourages them is the support of the corporate environment. So if the corporate environment supports you and provides you options, provides you benefits that will help you and your family, and by family I mean not only your mother and your father, but your partner, your children, the children of your partner. If a company provides this kind of support, then they're encouraged to stay longer. Attrition hiring will become lower at that rate, especially in the BPO where attrition is very high actually. And you will get to keep the best employees. So a lot of these things are things that are not quite recognized yet, but part of the advocacy that we're doing right now is to make sure that people understand that there is a very good investment in diversity. And not only LGBT, PWD, single people who have children, other people who are part of different minorities. We are all part of the same diverse spectrum. And I just so happen to represent the LGBTs. Plus, sorry, I know people will complain because there's a huge alphabet soup. It's LGBTQIA, A, B, C, D, E. So, it's like everybody. Now, I guess one of the things that I would also like to highlight is the Philippines is growing in terms of business. We're getting a lot of business right now. Foreign businesses, a lot of local businesses are opening, and it's great. The landscape for business is amazing. And it would really help if, these people who are putting up these businesses would clearly recognize the talent pool that we have in the LGBT sector, create policies and procedures that will help us grow in these industries and not just in the BPO. So the BPO is great, but best practices from the BPO should be shared. And, that's pretty much our message. Thank you.